everyone. So today we are going to make Vienna bread. Vienna bread was invented in Vienna. There are different shapes which are available. But today what we are going to make are we going to actually the dough we are going to divide into 10 portions, and we are going to make smaller shapes like this, and it should have a nice tapering end and gashes on top of it. This bread also has a nice thin crisp layer on top of it. Because of it, it is a little crispier on the side, the bread, but inside it is soft, only the top layer on top. Another thing that you do normally for the crisp layer is that we apply egg white wash on top of it, and we give a steam to the bread. Now for the veg version of this Vienna bread, we're not going to put the egg and the egg white wash, we're not going to apply. Only we're going to put milk, apply milk wash on top of it for the color, and inside we're going to skip the egg also. So that is for the veg version. Now let's look at the ingredients.
Ingredients used are refined flour, grain sugar, yeast, egg, salt, fat, poppy seeds, water. First you're going to start with refined flour and then yeast. Make a well and put yeast inside it. Fresh yeast we are using over here. Then grain sugar, we're using a less amount of grain sugar than the usual recipe, and one whole egg. Mix this all together. And start binding it together. Because you're putting egg over here, the amount of water is going to reduce. So around 70 to 80 ml of water will go inside it. So normally for the normal recipe, we use around 150 ml of water. But because egg also is a liquid content ingredient, so egg is around 50 grams. So we are going to reduce 50 in that. Plus this Vienna roll or Vienna bread is a little stiff dough. For the shape and for the texture, we don't make a it's not very stiff also, but comparatively it is not very soft dough also. So that's the reason we are reducing the water also. So the water is around 70 to 80 ml over here. Bind it together nicely and make sure you keep on kneading it, and do not put all the water together. Keep on putting water slowly inside it. Do not put all of it together. Kneading is very important. Okay, a little more water, and again start kneading it properly. If the lumps are formed, then it is very difficult to remove the lumps. So that's the reason you have to knead it from the start. Knead it properly. The dough should be a stiff dough, but a kneadable dough. So it shouldn't be very hard also. You should be able to mold it. Then we'll take very small amount of fat over here and salt. The fat is very less, and salt is comparatively a little more over here. Okay, because the recipe calls for it like that. That's the reason. Knead it nicely. We don't want to make this dough very soft. That's the reason we did not put more fat inside it. Very small amount of fat we're putting over here. And round it up. Once the dough is kneaded properly, round it up and keep this dough for proving. Make sure you're putting a damp duster on top of it. Okay, if damp duster is not available, even a bowl will do. You can see the dough has become double in size. And knock back the dough. After knock, just stretch the dough and divide it into 10 portions. Round it up because we are going to do second fermentation also over here. So just round it up. Make sure there are no cracks and all on top of it. Round it up and keep it on the side. Your rounding in the speed also is important for rounding. If you take too much of time for rounding, it is going to start proving. Okay, now if what you saw I did is, if they are uneven in shape, I will just cut it and adjust them in the other bread rolls over here. Now round it up properly, put the duster over this again and let it proof. Now we are going to till the time it is proving over there, we're going to grease the tray over here with the melted fat, and we're going to shape the Vienna rolls. You can see over here the dough has doubled in size. Okay, this is indication that the dough is proved. Pat it again, knock back and fold it. Folding is very important. Okay, if you see I am applying pressure with my thumb, I'm not allowing a gap to be created over there in between. The line in the base is where you will place the dough. Okay, again pat it and press it with your thumb. Don't allow a gap to be created over there. Okay, roll it in tapering ends. Okay, and that line I just showed you, on that you place the dough. Same thing we are going to do again. This tray which I have shown you, it is called as a bucket tray. Okay, in place like this is called as a bucket tray, French bucket tray. Now once the molding is done, you can apply egg white wash, as I told you in the initial stage, that for that nice thin crust we are going to apply egg white wash on top of it. Okay, apply on all the breads. If you see, the breads doesn't have too much of tapering end also, because too much of tapering end is going to make it it's going to become very thin and it might hurt while eating. So be careful about the tapering ends when you're making them, when you're rolling them also. And then put poppy seeds on top of it. Sprinkle the poppy seeds. You have to be a little fast. Don't allow the egg white wash to evaporate. And then you make slashes over here. I'm using blade because blade is the best way of doing the slashes. Otherwise what will happen is that if you take a knife and it is not sharp, it might ruin the shape of your bread. So try to give a nice angular slashes to the on the bread. Now this will go for proving and baking. This is how it looks after baking.